Hello everybody and welcome back to Deadpan Dining. Don't mind that back pimple, just admire the back gains. And also, don't mind the nipple slip. I feel like Janet Jackson. Anyway, this is my sweet, sweet boy. His name is Anubis. He is our channel mascot. And he's going to be joining us on many adventures here. Any hooch, today we're going to be making fresh pasta and kind of like a high-end ravioli. First thing we're going to do is add about 2 cups of flour to this bowl. Whisk a little well in the middle, give it a little finger. This old gal hasn't seen moisture in quite some time. So we're going to add 4 egg yolks, 2 whole eggs to that, a big old pinch of salt. And we're going to whip this thing up with a whisk or a fork or whatever you have. And try your best to make that wop. You know, that, what was that one song that lady made about the wet ass pasta? We're making wet ass pasta. So we're going to crumble this or kind of whip it till you get it to a point where it can kind of come together, and then we're going to use our hands and just oh, don't forget to add your light. That's also a very important step. Just take the pasta out of the bowl now that it's kind of formed, and we're going to knead the dough. And what that means is basically we're developing gluten here. So I did this for about 10 minutes, basically quarter turned and folded in half. Get it to the point where it's smooth. It looks like Homer Simpson's head. And we're going to push our thumb into the top of its head. I know all of you sick people out there wanted to do that to a newborn baby. So you can instead do that to a pasta ball because it will have very similar results. Anyways, grab your largest kitchen prophylactic and roll your pasta in a little bit of olive oil. We're just going to let it rest and let the gluten kind of relax. But yeah, you want to kind of knead this to the point where if you poke your finger into its head, the indentation will kind of come back up a little bit. It'll rise again. Anyways, we got some ricotta here. We're going to take a paper towel, just sop up some of that moisture that comes out of the ricotta. There's a little bit of water that comes with it, so sop it up into that diaper. Grab a little lemon and zest it. As you can see, I'm doing this to the point where it's just reached the white part of the lemon. You don't want to go any further than that because it gets quite bitter. You're going to grab also some Parmigiano Reggiano and grate that into this as well. The lemon's just going to kind of brighten it up a little bit because it is a very heavy dish we're making. You can adjust the filling as you please. I'm just doing something very simple here. We're going to add a pinch of salt and whisk it up a little bit. It is quite dry, so I'm just kind of beating the stuff that we just added to it into it. We're going to add a little heavy cream just to lubricate it up once again because we want it to be sort of pipeable. And I don't mean that in any other way, if you know what I'm trying to say. So we're going to whip it up here. As you can see, it's a little bit more smooth. And we're going to add it to a Ziploc bag because we do not have a piping bag at home. So we're doing kind of the ghetto method. This is sort of what this channel is all about anyways. We're trying to do ghetto stuff and make it real nice. But this is just as effective as a piping bag. You can use anything you want really that kind of has a seal and a corner really. So twist it up as tight as you can, try to knock some of that air out of it, beat that bag up and cut a little hole on the edge here. You can adjust the size depending on how much cheese you want to come out. For those of you uncut fellas out there, you might know all about what I'm talking about. Not me though. So we're going to switch it up here and grab ourselves some chives. We just got this from the garden, not really, bought it from the grocery store. And we're going to get our sharpest knife that we've got. And one thing I want to preface in these videos is treat your herbs, especially stuff like chives or cilantro or anything that's delicate, treat them with respect. Treat them like you'd want to treat your lady. Definitely don't treat them the way Chris Brown treated Rihanna. And by that I mean just be gentle. Anyways, we're going to take your Nona's favorite torture device. I'm sure you Italian folks out there probably walked into your Nonna stretching out your nonno's bat wing in one of these things before. You know what I'm talking about. Don't deny it. But we're going to take our freshly pulled out of the prophylactic pasta here and look at the little cross section. Look how smooth that is. Very, very beautiful, very soft, easy to roll out. So basically I'm just going to dust it with a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick. Ask your no-no about how it feels to have his, you know, his bat wing stuck in one of these rollers here. This is a very ancient tool for making pasta. If you don't have one of these, just use a rolling pin or a wine bottle, or maybe, I don't know, if you've got like a vibrator under your bed or something. You can use something that's kind of that shape. So we're going to start at the tallest, or I shouldn't say the tallest, the highest setting. And we're going to do like a little book fold here. This is just going to do some additional kneading to give a little more strength to the dough, and also just stretch it out into the shape that I kind of want. I want it to be kind of end to end in that roller there, so it's a little bit more consistent. But anyways, I skipped down to the point where I'm at the lowest setting because we want to go very thin with this dough, because we are doing a dough that's going to be cooked very quickly. As you can see, it's very thin and quite shiny, and it is a very beautiful dough. I'm just kind of mumbling to myself here how much it turns me on. You can't really hear it, or maybe you can under the you know, the smooth jazz that we're going to get copywritten for once again, but you could probably hear me mumbling about how it turns me on. So we're just going to cut it down to a little workable sizes here. Just fold it out. It looks like it's got like a double chin right there. So just take the double chin and remove that, and get rid of your no-nos torture device. We're going to grab our bag of cheese, and we're going to pipe circles here, and we're going to kind of do like 2 to 3 layers tall. By that I mean we're just going to go over the same thing like 2 or 3 times, just so it's a little bit tall. Just, you know, make sure that you tuck it in right there. And we're going to grab some egg yolks. I cracked one extra just in case I fudged this up, so put it right into the center of this. The egg yolk is kind of going to create a sauce alongside this ricotta cheese. And again, like I said, you could add whatever you want to that cheese. You could add the chives to the cheese. You could add, you know, some other herbs, or cigarette butts. Depends on what you're interested in and how you like to eat. But I just prefer good old classic cheese and lemon. So we're going to moisten up these flaps here. Always moisten your flaps before making pasta. And we're going to cut these into just sizes that we can work with, so we don't have to struggle with, you know, putting a big old sheet on top of all 3 and then just fudging the entire system up here. So we're not going to make it too even. It doesn't have to be. We're going to make it similar in size, and we're going to put it right on top. It looks like a fake breast augmentation procedure. I don't know why, or if that even is what it looks like, but to me, I feel like this is what it would look like if you were a fake breast doctor. Look at me, I'm fumbling my words. But we're gonna tuck this in as tight as we can, and try to, if there's little air pockets here, you can just poke a little tiny hole in it with a knife and just kind of, you know, pinch that area back together once you knock the air out of it here. So take a cutter. If you have a cutter, or if you don't have a cutter, you can just use a cup. But I have a little cookie dough cutter here, which we're going to cut this into a little beautiful sunshine bosom, or like a sunny side up egg, I guess. That's kind of what it looks like now that I'm thinking about it. I take back everything I said. It looks like a Fisher Price egg. But yeah, we're going to make a three piece here. And just kind of throw it in some really boiling water. On the side there we have butter that's browning. We're trying to make like a little bit of beurre noisette sauce, which just basically it's just brown butter, or burnt butter in a sense, but not burnt to the point where it's like tastes like charcoal. It's just a little bit nutty. And we're going to add the pasta straight to that once it's done boiling. This took me about, I'd say, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, because it is very thin. We're going to add that straight to the butter. The butter's now on low heat after we crank that soldier boy. Pretty much, to make brown butter, you just put it in a pan and turn it up real high until it gets nutty and brown. We're going to add some pasta water to this as well, because this is what's going to emulsify it. But we're going to add a little more than you normally would, just because I want this to be a little bit runny, so that when we do cut into this pasta, Then we add the cheese and the watery, buttery sauce here, the sugo, if you will. It's going to create a nice, beautiful emulsion in this plate. So we're almost at the end here. You can see how quick this was. I mean, the only real like timely thing was to rest the dough for at least like 20 minutes to half an hour. And we are going to save the rest of our dough to make a little short, a short that's not really a short. Make sure you wipe give the plate a rim job there. I'm going to grab our little tiny pipette of olive oil and just, you know, moisten this breast with some of that oil, P. Diddy style, you know, get some of that oil on top of there. And we got a truffle pecorino here, which is a little bit more fancy. You don't have to have this. You could just use your Parmigiano if you want, but I wanted to give it a little bit of a truffle essence. If I had fresh truffles, I'd throw it on top, but those are very expensive. We're going to take these grass clippings from the garden here and sprinkle a little bit on top, and some lemon juice from that lemon that we zested. What that's going to do is just kind of cut through all that fat and brighten the dish a little bit. You can add more cheese to this if you really want as well. I'm noticing now that I didn't add enough cheese, but I did add a lot more once I was done filming because I am a slob. But look at how beautiful this is. The egg yolk and the cheese and that brown butter liquid kind of creates the sugo, if you will, the sauce. This is a very rich, cheesy, creamy, heavy dish. It's not something you want to eat right before smashing. You know, you might get gas if you're lactose intolerant or are allergic to eggs. But you can see how beautiful this looks. It's so rich and so heavy. It's something you want to treat your partner to, or just to yourself to. Here's my cat in his little homeless house. As you can see, he bites the edge. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. We will be making leftovers with the rest of the pasta, so we'll see you in that one. Peace.